Welcome to Faith and Freedom. For the next few minutes, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you as we discuss the legal victories and challenges to your fundamental freedoms and religious liberties. Faith and Freedom comes to you from Liberty Counsel, a civil liberties education and legal defense organization. Join us now as Matt Staver, the President and General Counsel of Liberty Counsel, explains the latest legal issues all across this country in the courtrooms of America. Liberty Counsel is winning the battle for your constitutional freedoms.
Let's defend our sovereignty this Independence Day. I'm Matt Barber, Director of Cultural Affairs with Liberty Counsel and Associate Dean with Liberty University School of Law, in for Matt Staver today. And joining me in studio once again is Sean Akers, Dean of Liberty University's Helms School of Government and Policy Analyst with Liberty Counsel. Well, Sean, 240 years ago, our founding fathers drafted the birth certificate of this nation, and we declared as a nation independence from an oppressive government. We set up shop across the big pond, as they say, and through adherence to and recognition of a sovereign God, formed the United States of America with the idea under the premise that we were all endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights, among these life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Well, we celebrate that independence this week. We remember our founding fathers and the very important principles that they stood for, while at the same time, Sean, I think our nation is at a crossroads. We are facing a deterioration in our sovereignty from within, from certainly President Obama, who sits in the White House, from Nancy Pelosi, Harry Reid, and others who have more of an internationalist mindset. Unfortunately, the independence of this great United States in this postmodern, brave new world is in jeopardy.
But, Matt, I tell you, this time of year is one that we can stop and reflect on a part of that. If there is a key to making a difference in the United States, to bringing it back to its founding principles, it's not necessarily just the research and an understanding of the founders. It's what they chose to dedicate in this document. What they said is they pledged their lives, their fortunes, and their sacred honor. We live in a time where we have more opportunity and less of a chance of suffering any great ill by standing up and taking our place as the sovereigns of the United States than any other time in history. When these fellas got together and said, we're going to tell England that we're acknowledging the liberty that is every person's right as a creation of God, when they signed that document, you talk about an act of faith, Matt. The United States at that time was just a loose group of a few million folks scattered on the eastern seaboard of what would become the United States of America, and they told the equivalent of the world's single greatest superpower that you can do what you want, but we're going to be on our own. They were picking a fight with the greatest superpower on the globe. In essence, without God, you know, we believe in God conveniently when we don't need Him, but we believe in Him very, very sincerely when He's our only hope of survival. When these guys signed that document, it was signing their death certificate. They were traitors to the crown, punishable by death. When they said that we pledge our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor, they meant it. They meant that we are pouring everything we've got into this, and that unless that God, the creator of the universe, acts on our behalf, we're probably not going to make it through this thing.
Well, that's right. And they pledged their life, their fortune. Many of them lost their lives, and even more lost their fortunes. And they did so, again, based on the premise of liberty. That man was designed in God's image to live free. Now, this notion of liberty, it doesn't mean necessarily the liberty to do anything you want to do with no boundaries, no moral parameters or framework from which to live. But that's why they made a clear distinction in the Declaration of Independence that there were certain unalienable rights. And certainly with the first 10 amendments of the United States Constitution, they enumerated a number in the Bill of Rights, a number of these rights. Well, lest there be any question that these were men of God who believed that the Bible, Sean, the scriptures among our founding fathers, the Bible is the most quoted source in all of our founding documents and in all of our founding fathers' speeches and writings. Well, on July 8th, and this is according to our friends over at Wall Builders, on July 8th, 4 days after 1776, 4 days after the signing of the Declaration of Independence, members of Congress took that document and they read it aloud from the steps of Independence Hall, proclaiming it to the city of Philadelphia. After which the Liberty Bell was rung. Now, Sean, the inscription around the top of the Liberty Bell is what? It's a Bible verse. Just imagine if the ACLU had been around in the days of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Is there any question that our founding fathers would have been sued? Leviticus 25:10 was most appropriate for the occasion. It says, quote, "Proclaim liberty throughout the land and to all the inhabitants thereof." So, Sean, in the next few days, as we celebrate the 4th of July, as we celebrate Independence Day, I know that I intend to reflect and sit down with my children and reiterate to them and go over the founding of our nation and the history